I was also in Boston for the Christians and Jews United for Israel Genesis Award. I was there to share some music. I got the privilege of hearing Mr. David Nekrutman speak. If you don't know who this man is, you need to know. He's kind of a pioneer when it comes to specifically Israel education, and he's working on some initiatives now along with Olga and other partners of ours to really to help the next generation. He was the recipient of the Genesis Awards this year, and he gave the keynote speech. The speech was very powerful. He spent probably about the first maybe 60% of it just giving us his background and how prominent he is in the Christian space, and how his journey kind of led him to what he does now, which he works primarily with Christians. He works with Christians more than he works with Jews. And that's what he's told us over these past couple of decades. So he's talking about his relationship with this person, that person, how that started, and how he wasn't sure, can I do this? Let me talk to my rabbi. My rabbi said it's okay, I'll do it. And then it goes to like, okay, this is my experience at a Pentecostal church. This is my experience on a regular Sunday. I was like, what are these people doing? But now he is such a figure in the church, and he has such a deep understanding of the Christian faith that he is able to be in those spaces and with the great level of sensitivity. Reminds me a lot of our CEO, but on the other side of that, right? So our CEO, who's a Christian pastor, who's able to work in the Jewish space, is the same type of thing. And when he got toward the end of his speech, the mood changed a little bit, and he said what Olga and I were talking about earlier. He was saying that for the churches who said that they stand with Israel, right? They had these events for years and years, waving Israeli flags and having these standing with Israel events, nighttime Israel events, whatever it is. He said, I'm just paraphrasing, he was deeply disappointed in the lack of response to October 7th. Not the church broadly, because sometimes if we're not in something, we generalize. He's deeply involved with Christian leaders all across the country. So he's talking about specific tons of churches that he knows that have hosted him, right? That he's worked with and beyond and beyond. And he said he was deeply disappointed in the lack of response. There's so much silence, he said. And he said, if you claim to stand with Israel, he said, I live in memory. And he said, as a Christian, when you say that you believe in Jesus, and you believe that Jesus is your Messiah, and you follow him, and you love him, and you serve him, just know that he's a member of my family. And I mean, you could hear a pin drop. I mean, it was, and unfortunately, that has been the sentiment, again, not just Christians in general, but we've been hearing from our Jewish friends about the Christians who have been rah-rah Israel for these past few years. This is not our words. These are their words. They're saying people have not even so much as reached out to ask, how are you? We got to do better, you guys. If you're a Christian and you're a Zionist, if this doesn't apply to you, then fine. But if you know people, reach out to them.
Our CEO did, if I'm not mistaken, a Truth to Power Live episode a few weeks ago, where he actually, without going into all of the details there, go check it out on YouTube, on Rumble, on all our social media platforms, how not only the churches, but also Christian Zionist organizations allowed October 7 and everything that's happened since, particularly the rise in anti-Semitism on our college campuses, to happen on our watch, right? And how there needs to be more of a focus on repenting, because we cannot say one thing. Joshua talks about the silence of many, which is very, very true. And then there have even been people who have said rah, 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 but when it came down to actions, zero, nothing. And October 7 was such a defining moment in terms of standing for righteousness versus evil, but also stepping up and being courageous.